What's up, Castlers? LFO7 here with more Let's Castle action. Today's game features Balkanbeginner representing Team New Yugoslavia versus Alexson THC from our very own Let's Castle Chess Club. This is from round 2 of the Team Match Championship League playoffs. In game 1, Alexson was victorious over Balkanbeginner via resignation after 23 moves. He was looking to get greedy and sweep him in game 2. Let's see if that happened. This game began on October 1st and ended on November 2nd. Balkan starts off with pawn to d4. Alexson responds with knight to f6, bishop f4, and pawn to d6, and then knight to f3. The Indian game is on the board, Castlers. In this position, Alexson is inviting Balkan to establish an imposing presence in the center with the center pawns, with the plan of undermining with the hypermodern offense and ultimately destroying it in the middle and end games. By the way, a hyper-modern offense means you take control of the center with distant pieces, such as a fianchettoed bishop, let's say. But let's move on. You get pawn to c5, pawn to e3. You get an exchange of pawns in the center. Pawn to g6, Alexson preparing to fianchetto his bishop, like I alluded to earlier. Knight b to d2, bishop to g7, pawn to h3, kingside castle, bishop to d3, knight c6, pawn to c3, bishop d7, kingside castle, knight to d5. Alexson trying to snag a bishop. Balkan says no thank you with bishop h2. Pawn to e5. Alexson attempts to open up the center. You get an exchange of pawns. Rook to e1. And then queen to b6 from Alexson, which isn't the best move because it allows Balkan to win tempo, basically with the play of knight c4. An excellent move from Balkan. Alexson has to spin a move, moving his queen out of the way. He moves it to c7, which leads to an exchange where Balkan will come out leading by 2 material points after Alexson takes back the pawn on c3 with his queen. You then get rook to e1, rook a to d8, rook to c1, harassing the queen. So Alexson moves it to a safer square on a3 and at the same time attacks the a2 pawn. Bishop c4 defends the attacked a2 pawn. So Alexson moves his queen to a5. Bishop b3, bishop e6, queen to f3. Alexson gets rid of the bishop on b3, but Balkan attacks the rook and queen simultaneously. Alexson snatches the pawn on a2. Balkan takes the rook. Alexson takes the bishop back, and the Brazilian sensation has evaporated the 2-point deficit with an excellent job. Just an excellent job from him. But wait, not so fast. Balkan plays the great move of rook to a1, targeting the queen. Alexson moves his queen to c2. Balkan follows that up with queen takes b7 and goes up a pawn. Alexson responds with bishop to d5, targeting the queen. Balkan counters with queen to e7, targeting the hanging rook. Rook f8, the rook is now protected. And rook e c1, hitting the queen, so he moves it to f5. Rook c5, pinning the bishop to the queen. Or is it? Alexson plays the sneaky queen e4, setting up a potential checkmate in 1 on that g2 square. But Balkan solves that simply by trading queens. After Alexson takes back the queen, Balkan snags another pawn on a7 with his rook, and Alexson is now down by 2 points again. So Alexson responds with bishop f5, but the computer would have preferred Alexson to start mobilizing his king off the back rank and basically to start marching those pawns down for promotion. But back to the action. Balkan doubles up his rooks on the a file. And then you get a bishop to e6, rook a8, king to g7. Balkan liquidates the rooks, pawn to g4, king g7, pawn to f4. Again, the engine preferred Balkan to start moving his king up, but this endgame looks pretty promising for Balkan and very ominous for Alexson. However, the thing is, you got to finish, Castlers. And as we all know, the hardest game to win is a 1 game. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Lasker. The game continues with pawn to h6 from Alexson, king to g2, king f8, king f3, pawn to f5 from Alexson, rook a6, bishop d5, check. And then you get king to e3, king g7, king d4. Balkan correctly bringing his king into the action to help seal the deal. Bishop g2, g takes f5, g takes f5, pawn to h4, pawn to h5, king e5, bishop h4, defending the f5 pawn. Rook f6 puts two attackers on that pawn now. Bishop g4, king e6, Balkan maneuvering his king now to go for a mating pattern. Alexson sees that, so he plays king to h7, king f7 from Balkan, and Alexson says, you know what? It's not going to get any better. I won the first game, so I'll be content with a split, and he simply resigns. Alexson falls to Balkanbeginner. So with that loss, each player earns a point for their respective clubs. The current score in the second round of the Team Match Championship playoff, round 2, is 6-5. New Yugoslavia, you can see on the left, has 6. Let's Castle Club has 5. With 7 games remaining. And it looks like Chevalier Chess has 1 game remaining. He won his other game. I covered that game. YDTD has not finished his 2 games. He's got 2 games remaining. LDF07, that's me. I won my 2 games. Go me. Slam 20 has 2 games remaining. Kingslayer, unfortunately, lost both of his games against GNJECC. I'm not even going to pronounce that. Alexson, we just covered that. He earns a split against Balkanbeginner. Tibbs 0111 has not finished his 2 games versus Vahi 74. Jackpot Ja lost both of his games, unfortunately, to Suji Baba. And Sunny Days from YO Yonkers earned a split versus Virajikin. So that's going to do it for today's video. I'm Eladef07 saying stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.